Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, the Arsenal edition. Arsenal went to City and drew 2-2. Got Gabby and Mitch here. How are we doing? How are we feeling?
And I'm feeling good. I was going to say we got out without a scrape, but we definitely got a scrape, which is sorry.
Go on, Mitch.
I'm so angry that I don't think I'm going to be good at podcasting today, but I also need an outlet. So, like, I think that just, like, I have to do this. My head's on fucking Pluto, man. I'm so mad.
This is a warning to our viewers. Get ready for the crash out of crash outs.
Yeah, okay.
Thank God we, delayed this by 30 minutes, because if we recorded this 30 minutes earlier, I don't think I would stop screaming the entire podcast.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't do halftime reactions because anyway.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of background here from me personally. This is the most relaxed I've felt playing City in years. I'm talking going back maybe 9 years. This is the most relaxed I felt playing City. I felt confident Arsenal could win today. There was no sort of anxiety. I said to Dean in the group chat, I'm trying to drum up some sort of adrenaline for myself, and I just couldn't. I went for a walk. You know what I mean? I ended up having a nap before kickoff. I was just like, oh, okay, let's go. Arsenal going to win today. I feel good kind of thing. And yeah, everything was pointing towards an Arsenal win today, despite even when they took the lead. Me and Dean were very, very calm. I want to know how you guys felt after Atlanta and obviously coming into this.
Atlanta United plays in MLS, so we didn't play against them.
I said Atlanta.
Let's check the tape. I'm pretty sure you said it. I'm pretty sure you teed me up for an MLS joke, and I'm going to take that opportunity every single time.
Yeah, but I don't watch English, so I'm sorry, I can't help you there, unfortunately. But yeah, you guys mood. How did you guys feel?
If you guys listened to the pod last week, you knew how I felt about that Atlanta game. I wanted us to win it, and we didn't win it, and I don't think we played very well. And I was just like, you know what? It's whatever. It's whatever. Because I did not see us coming to the Etihad and getting a win at all.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were either going to draw or lose. And I really did think we were going to draw. I was like, it's going to be a 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, whatever draw. Mm-hmm. And I was right. So
fair enough. I met you.
I was the inverse because I was happy with the performance against Atalanta, or the result against Atalanta, not necessarily the performance, but 0-0 way against an Italian team is great. I was happy with that, and I was feeling pretty good for the City game, but I also just didn't let myself stew very much because I woke up 30 minutes before the game, and then you just don't think about it. It's the beautiful thing about being an American soccer fan is you don't have to have that long wait until a game later in the day. Mm-hmm. I can just wake up and be like, all right, we're playing in 30 minutes. I guess this is happening.
Yeah, I felt like this is one of the only Arsenal games I've had in a long time that I couldn't be asked what the result was. I was just like, whatever happens. We're limping over the line at this point because Odegaard's out.
I couldn't say that. Could not fucking say that. I definitely cared about the result, and I definitely still do.
So yeah, obviously we've got to the lineup now, and I, for one, personally, I'm not surprised. I really respect Mikel Arteta, and I feel like he's a thinking man, and he must have known that City must have felt that there was an opportunity there for them to bully us today, and he said, "All right, fuck all of that." Basically, here's my starting 11, and he's gone for a traditional left back in terms of what foot he is, and a traditional right back again in terms of what foot he is as well. And obviously, you know what our centre backs are like. And it, to me, looked like a 4-2-3-1, and it played like that while we had 11, basically.
I think that's what they had on the broadcast, at least for America, for NBC. They had the broadcast as a 4-2-3-1. I was like, we never played that.
Which I'm personally fond of, but it today demanded it, and we got our results in the first 45 minutes, I think, personally. But did you guys feel as if Ben White was hard done by, or do you feel like this was due? Because I was personally quite pleased with the decision to drop him.
So was I. No offense to Ben White. We are all friends of Ben White on this one. Yeah. I love Benny Blanco, but I've been calling for Calafiori and Timber to start as our starting at fullbacks. One, Ben needs a rest. Yeah. He played all of last season because we we could not rotate him, which was terrible. And he hasn't really started off the season that great. And he has a bad habit of playing through injuries. So I was like, just don't play him. Even if he's not injured, which apparently he was playing through an injury, a knee injury. But even if he wasn't, I was like, just protect your player and rest him for a little bit. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, just rest him for a little bit. You have players on the bench that you went out and bought to play inverse of him. I don't know.
And spent a lot of money as well on him, you know?
Yeah.
So Mitch, I have a bit of research for you. Don't worry, we've got a bit of time. Just fire up Google for me. Can you just tell me the age of Jurrien Timber, please?
You want me to Google something, okay?
Yeah, just tell me the age of Jurrien Timber for me. Trust me, guys, it's gonna land. Just walk with me.
I think it's younger than Saka, isn't it?
He's 23 years old. I'm 2 days older than him. He was born on June 17th, 2001. I am 2 days older than him. That's crazy.
Interesting. Incredibly interesting. And could you just tell me, for all intents and purposes, who was his matchup today?
I feel like you're trying to like get me on something. Like, why do I feel like I'm about to?
I promise you, mate.
Into something specific.
If I'm going to deceive a white man, it won't be you anytime soon. Trust me.
Doku. He was going up against Doku.
Right. Okay, so can anyone tell me the last time Doku had a good performance against someone that was under 35 years old? Anyone?
He hasn't, because he's not a good player.
Oh, there we go. Thank you very much. So this is what I was talking about
actually,
earlier.
we should ask Robert Pires what he thinks, because he's actually more consistent than Saka. Even though Saka has 5 assists to start the Premier League season, the first player to do that, 5 assists in the first 5 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not consistent. That's not a thing that you would ever use to describe Bukayo Saka. But Mr. Skill Move, oh my God, what a consistent player. He gives consistent 5 out of 10 performances every fucking time. Well done, Doku. Hell yeah.
And that's what we can ask for, consistency. Consistently shite. So here's the thing. Robert Pires, in his infinite wisdom, and believe me, it is pretty damn near infinite in terms of being an attacking midfielder, probably felt as if, Doku's a bit more exciting to watch. Which players are, people are entitled to have their opinion. I think, Doku does all these 5-star skill moves, but it's great. But Saka just walks away with the match ball more often than not anyway. So it is what it is. But, there was a conversation about that. But I just feel as if Doku, if the player isn't a geriatric, he's not having a good day. And Timber absolutely battered him. I can't remember. I think it was in the second half actually, but he switched sides anyway. He switched over to Calafiori, but that didn't last long either. So it was
when Foden came. Well, actually, he would subbed out.
Yeah, he already
got hooked. He got hooked for Foden.
Yeah, but
to be fair to Bobby, I knew what he was trying to do there. But I feel like that whole opinion was just skewed because of like City is City and Arsenal is Arsenal.
Flashy.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
I listen. I love Bobby, but it was just a whatever opinion.
Yeah.
He said his sorries, and let's move on.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I was reasonably happy with the lineup, and it was great. The actual tactical setup now, I think it reminded me a bit of 22-23. We played quite high. And we got absolutely battered that game, but I feel like our physical drop-off was a big factor in that. But we played quite high and we got punished relatively early. City started quite well. We tried to pass the ball around, but they just did what City do. And before we knew it, we were 1-0 down. Mitch, you want to talk us through the goal and what you noticed? And if there was anyone at fault, who was it?
I think it was more City being good than us being bad. But if you're going to put fault on anyone, it's Calafiori, because he got pulled out wide, outdone by it, pulled Gabriel out wide. Our center backs were split, and it allowed a lot of space for Haaland to run through.
Yeah.
If anyone's at fault, it's Calafiori, but I really just do think that Savio did really, really well there to spin out of that. And Haaland is Haaland. Like, I don't really think I'm willing to put like a whole bunch of blame on Calafiori for that, because I think it was just City being very, very effective of pulling our defense wide.
Do you guys put any blame on Raya on that goal?
No.
Not that I do. I'm just posing the question.
Because
somebody else said that on Twitter, and I was like, huh?
No,
not even a little.
You have to remember, it's Erling Haaland, and he could finish that with
I agree.
butt if he wanted to in that position. There's nothing you can really do about
Nobody
that.
bends against Haaland 1v1 with the keeper. Like, let's be real here.
I've seen him miss one before for City as well, but I just felt like in this sort of game, the temperament, the fact that he knows that he probably won't get another chance like that for the entire game, and he didn't, by the way. He
We'll come to that.
He had to take it kind of thing. And it was just one of those things. But we didn't get caught like that afterwards. So in terms of our temperament, guys, how impressed with you, like especially you, Gabby, I suppose. How impressed with you how we stayed in the game despite City putting us under a lot of pressure, but not really making any saves. Were you impressed with our solidity, with our resilience, with the fact that we didn't look like Arsenal of old, potentially even early Arsenal, should I say, under Arteta? How did you feel about that?
I'm always impressed with us defensively. Always, they just continue to raise the bar all the time. But I also like. This is what maybe it's because I didn't expect anything of this game other than a draw. I kind of expected this. I expected it to be a chess match, which is what the neutrals deserve because they always want to talk shit. And I was just like, well, they're probably going to score one. It'll probably be Haaland because he's in form. And when they scored their first, I mean, we already talked about how Calafiori got spun. That probably won't happen in the reverse fixture, by the way. It's this first start in the biggest game of the season for us, so fair enough. Coming from a completely different league. I was like, all right, we made our little mistake that we always do, and then we'll probably like get more compact and then play up. I was more worried about if we would score or not, rather than concede more goals. Because this Arsenal, I can't even say Arsenal of late, this Arsenal of the last 3 years in general, they don't get slapped like 5-0, no matter who it is. So, especially not in the last 2 seasons, they were never going to get that. I don't even think they were ever going to get like a 3-1, a 3-0 or something like that. I was like, if you score 3 goals against Gabriel and Saliba, that's a feat. I'll tell you, we must have had a terrible game because those two are... Which is probably why I was surprised that we conceded that first goal. Not because Haaland like had the ball. I already knew he was going to score. But more because there was so much space in between them. That it's rarely that we concede a goal where Saliba and Gabriel are not on the same wavelength. Yep. There was so much space in between them, and Haaland cut in between them to get to the goal. And I was like, we're not going to see that again. We're not going to see that again. That's your one mistake for the game or for the next like 6 months.
Yeah, no, I'm like, to me personally, I was just, when I looked at the replay again, well, even to be honest, during the actual goal, I was like, wow, there's a lot of space here. But again, I knew straight afterwards that even if it didn't come from Arteta, it would have come from Gabriel, that basically saying, guys, this is not happening again kind of thing. Let's actually be cuter here and actually restrict the space kind of thing. And I think he had a conversation with Rice and number 5 as well to make sure that gap doesn't appear again, basically. And it didn't, even with 10 men. So look, we equalized, and I'm calling it from open play. It's an open play goal. It's an open play goal. I don't care what no one says, right? And I just want to get this out of the way, like earlier. I always find it incredibly cheeky when City and Chelsea, of course, always like object to refereeing decisions. Like I find it so
cry all the time.
That you've been afforded all of these advantages and you still want to complain about a ref potentially getting the decision wrong when you guys have cheated your way to everything. Like that really grinds my gears. But anyway, we get the free kick, and Martinelli, by the way, we're gonna have a section on him. I think he had a really good game, to be fair, on and off the ball. He gets the ball and he gets his half yard, and Calafiori can, does what I can only describe as I don't think I've seen a goal like that from our left back since Nigel Winterburn away to Chelsea in like 98 or something like that. Mitch, how hard did you celebrate?
I was kind of in disbelief, but yeah, my roommates aren't home, so I was screaming all game. It just gave me like free reign to just scream my fucking head off.
Yeah.
Of most of which late in the game was not fun, screaming my head off. But holy shit, what a fucking hit! Like, I could not believe that.
Genuinely incredible.
And I think to be honest, it's not really a surprise because we know Calafiori's got a rocket in his left foot, and I don't know if that's particularly a.
Do we?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
I've
watched enough Calafiori to know. But
I have not. I've.
But I'll tell you what I loved most about that goal in general is the fact that he didn't even wait. He looked over to Arteta straight away. He's like, I want to get you. And they're all trying to pull him back like, no, that's my gaffer kind of thing. And I almost kind of feel like I don't want to read too much into it, but obviously Arsenal don't score that many goals from outside the box. But I feel like that's another thing we're going to try to evolve into as well.
I hope so.
And I kind of feel like that might have been an instruction that, look, when we get the ball in and around their box, if there's a half yard, just shoot. We know Edison is a bit funny and it's raining as well, kind of thing. And I feel as if it wasn't just tactical, it was more of a, he's shown belief in me, he's given me my start today. Thank you so much, Gaffer. Here's your goal, basically. That's what it felt and that's what it looked like to me.
It was a here I am in the Premier League moment, like genuinely, especially because he got done for the goal, the first goal.
Exactly.
Like he was like, it's not gonna, this ain't gonna be what you think it's gonna be. Like, and when he hit that, no hesitation.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, I screamed my head off.
I kept on screaming, I cook at the pasta. I said it like 4 times.
Oh my god, no hesitation, top bins. I was like, oh, put that in your pipe and smoke it. You guys were talking shit.
And the thing is, people underestimate the impact of how you score a goal. When it's something like that, it just knocks the wind out of you. After that, Arsenal were in control of the game. Like City obviously had the ball, but Arsenal were in control of the game. And I really, really enjoy the fact that we're able to go away to the Etihad and wrestle back control after a setback. It really points towards, I don't know, it points towards a shift in mentality, but a genuine belief and quality to carry out what you need to do in such a difficult place to go. Like, I personally think it's the hardest fixture in football right now, at least. I genuinely do think it is. And Arsenal are up to the task, it looks like. But in general, do you think, Mitch, City had anything to be annoyed about? Like, and I'm actually trying to be serious here.
You asked the wrong person, probably.
Fucking no. Absolutely,
you lobbed that to the wrong person.
No.
I would have tried my best to annoy Mitch because I thought,
oh my god,
I thought my life was in danger.
Jesus fucking Christ! No, they didn't. What?
Look, we have to talk about Rodri's injury, I think, as well, because that probably, I think, had a contributing factor in the shift in the game. Even though I do feel as if he went down and City still looks relatively good. In general, though, do you think, I have no idea, if anyone's heard anything about his injury, let me know, but how much do you think that really had an impact, not just on obviously the game, we know Rodri's quality, but just on City's mentality, thinking, can we actually win this game, or are we weaker now?
I don't think it had a mentality on, and can we win this game, for City, because they're playing at home and they're still a very, very strong, the strongest team in the world, even if Rodri's not there. But he is like their best player. Like losing Kevin De Bruyne is like, damn, that's unfortunate, but also you got Phil Foden that you guys think is the best in the world. Sorry, you got a Haaland who's the best in the world.
Sorry, we went there without Marino and Odegaard as well. City can't complain. I know.
Listen, I don't believe in the complaining. I was going to get to that, but just because I think that a lot of City fans and other fans in the Prem as well were talking a lot of shit about, oh well, when you guys lost to Leva, you guys just fell apart. You can't fall apart when one player is gone.
No.
When you have watched City multiple games without Rodri, I don't want to hear that shit. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm honestly looking at, let's say he's out for the same amount of time as someone like Odegaard. In that period, I think they go to Newcastle away. I think they've also got Liverpool as well. So I'm looking at thinking, City potentially could drop points while he's not playing, because you know how much he gives them. So yeah, look, Haaland is clearly, I'll say it out loud, Haaland's a bitch. Like, that's what he is. He's just a bitch. And he doesn't like when he doesn't get his own way, and he doesn't like playing against Saliba and Gabriel. He just doesn't. They give him nothing. Literally, they gave him nothing. Today was his first goal against us in literally 2 years, if I remember correctly. So yeah, he's obviously ran into Saliba. No booking, by the way. Again, I was going to ask Mitch, but I don't want to annoy him about the referee, so I'll just ask him about unicorns and fluffy shit and cats and shit, so don't worry about that. But there was no booking for that. But Arsenal teams of the past probably, get a bit of, rough and tumble when they go to pieces, and these guys were like, oh yeah, like, I'm enjoying this shit. Like, it's been a while since I've looked at Arsenal team and I think, yeah, there's not a single team on the planet that can bully us, kind of thing. I want to know, obviously, everyone here that we're recording with now, I've been watching football the longest here. Is this like, the most physical Mitch, you've seen Arsenal like since you've been watching Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean, Kai Havertz like bullied Rodri on like the first play.
Yeah.
I don't know how he's still standing.
That was great.
I don't know how that guy was still standing. Kai was running everywhere the whole entire game for the last 4 games. I was like, how are you alive? Like,
no, honestly, he is like Arteta's actual lieutenant on the pitch. I know people talk about Odegaard and whatnot, but literally Havertz sets the tone for us, like physically, with the way he runs, the example he sets. He's dueling for everything, absolutely everything. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with him in general. So yeah, John Stones actually, and I will direct this to you, Mitch. He spoke about the dark arts and how Arsenal are, XYZ, and, I wouldn't call it dirt, you call it whatever you want kind of thing, and that's the way they play it, and it disrupts the rhythm, not only for City, but for them as well, but that's, that's what they do kind of thing. Are you offended by that, considering who they have on their roster?
They're truly the biggest whiners in sports. There's not a team that's more entitled than Manchester City. Every single thing that goes against them is the wrong thing, despite the fact they are helped by the refs more than any other team. Michael Oliver was refereeing in the UAE and should not be allowed to ref Manchester City games. Trossard gets sent off for maybe kicking the ball away, maybe being too physical. I don't think Michael Oliver even fucking knows. I think he just wanted to send an Arsenal player off. What the fuck else are we supposed to do other than like play in this way? We want to be physical. We want to be an imposing team, and we are that successfully. And like, yeah, we're gonna time waste. Shocker! When a team goes down to 10 men in the second half, who's fucking shocked here that they don't want to play quickly? City would be doing the same exact thing, and it's unbelievably hypocritical to be whining about it when you couldn't fucking break us down. You guys were the one that decided to do a fucking donut of sadness the entire second half when you could have done something fucking interesting to try to score. But no, you're just going to keep running into our players and then whining about it. Like, yeah, you're not getting... Shocker that you had to fucking wait until the 98th minute in 7 minutes of stoppage time to fucking get your goal. Who's surprised? Who's fucking surprised?
I might put the ether beat on this, that, honestly. I think I will actually in post-production. Okay, so set pieces, guys. I get excited, genuinely. And Mitch, stay with me here, but I get excited when we see when I see we've got a corner, especially when it's being delivered on Saka's side. They didn't learn their lesson clearly because they put Doku on Gabriel, which is like, nuclear bomb versus coffin baby. So when you saw him up against Kyle Walker, was you already celebrating? Because personally, I was.
That whole thing was just odd. Doku on Gabriel, why would you ever think that would work? First of all, he should have scored that first one, one that he missed. But then when he went on Kyle Walker, I was like, Kyle Walker's about to do something stupid. Like, I just knew it. Like, he's about to do something stupid. And I was like, if you keep giving Gabriel these chances, he's going to slap one on your head tops.
Obviously, the mismatch was great, but there's so many other parts of that set piece that were just fucking wonderful. Like, the 3 players coming in to crowd Ederson and not doing anything illegal, which just like walking in and just standing there is like 100% allowed in the rules. Fantastic set piece design. And also, Bukayo Saka is just fucking automatic on set pieces. Just puts it in like the correct spot every single time. And there's not much you can do to stop it. I will say at halftime, the entire NBC crew was like, hey, that was a fucking shocking red card. And then Tim Howard, being very goalkeeper-esque, was like, Arsenal shouldn't be allowed to do that on corners. And it's like, they weren't doing anything. If they were like holding his arms or something, totally fair to be upset about that. We didn't do anything about it. And it's just very goalkeeper bias, and I don't blame him for it. But it was very funny and also a great goal, and I celebrated that very hard. And then now I'm really sad. So
it's just funny to me that Tim Howard came out and was like, oh, well, you're supposed to whine about it. As a goalkeeper, I've done it. Like, go out and tell the refs that you can't come out. I was like, why would you tell them that? Why would you tell them to whine to the ref? What kind of... Oh, my God. The broadcasters, I was just like, all right, I guess.
I'll be honest with you, and this is an Arsenal pod, so I can feel no way about saying about this, but I generally just feel like it's us against the world because everyone seems to have a problem with what the fuck we do. We couldn't even wear our home kit against a team that wears white last week, something we've been doing for the past 40-something years. Like, it's just a joke. But just on Gabriel, we know already that this is the kind of game that he is made for. Backs against the
Loves
wall,
it.
whether it's 10 or 11 men or whatever, and he defends his own box. But he might be a bigger threat. He might be, I feel weird things, but he might be even better in the opposition box than he is in his own box. Like, genuinely, it's almost scary how we're expectant of it. And we know Saliba is just a unicorn of a footballer in general, forget a defender. But Gabriel really, to me, just it feels as if that he's the one that's leading the defense. Like, he's the one that's setting the tone for us. And he's someone we can depend on to get us out of sticky business in both boxes. Like, that is a huge, huge asset to have. And I'm not going to mention his name, but there was a Chelsea captain once upon a time that kind of played like that, but was nowhere near as good on the ball as Gabriel. So, yeah.
I mean, there was a moment in the game where I was asking people on the timeline, like, who has the captain's armband? Like, who has the captain's armband? And somebody was like, I think it's Gabriel. And I said, oh, let's do this. Let's do this. A leader on the pitch and in my heart. That's what he is.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
So unfortunately, Mitch, you might want to mute your microphone because I don't know if I want to ask you about it. Basically.
No, please do, please. No, please start me. I want it. I want the rock. Give me 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 the rock. Let me have it.
I can't put two.
Give me the rock
in here because copyright and all of that. So you also have to hold that, unfortunately. But look, I'll give my take on this, and Mitch, you can pick the bones off it afterwards. After me and Gabs kind of have talked it to death, but. Personally,
give me the rock.
No,
give me the fucking rock.
Personally, if I see something that my teammate has been carded for in a previous game and it was a big talking point for all of 3 weeks, and then I go and do the same thing, expecting a different.
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
I have to say what bitch on this one. It's not the fucking same thing.
Even close.
Wait, guys. Everyone gets to talk, I promise, right? But if you're going to be sent off, if you're going to do the same thing, right? And I want to say the same thing in the eyes of the referee, right? Because that's what I'm talking about, right? In the eyes of the referee, knowing what a shameful organization runs the referees and produces referees right now, you're going to give them a reason to, right? I'm sorry, I can't be too angry at a leopard, not changing its spots. I personally think Trossard is unlucky to be sent off for it because it's a shit rule. It is a shit rule. But the simple fact is, right, one of our players already been sent off for the same reasoning that he gave, kind of thing.
Not the same thing. Not even close to the same thing.
I'm not trying to hear that shit.
The same reasoning that they're going to give, right? And it's not a hard thing to understand. It's generally not a hard thing to understand.
Yes, it is.
It's not hard to understand.
Because, Coach, the thing that you're trying to... Listen, the thing that you're trying to skirt around... Wait. The thing that you're trying to skirt around is it's the referee's discretion.
Mm-hmm.
And the referee's discretion changes with the team that they're playing, that they're watching. And when it's Arsenal, they like to do bullshit. You know that.
With Arsenal, this is the point I'm making. With Arsenal, it doesn't change. Arsenal are refed differently. This is the point. And maybe I'm not even really annoyed with Trossard. Maybe I'm more annoyed with Arteta not hammering it own and creating an environment where we feel as if it's us against the world, because we don't operate the same way as everybody else. We can't. Even us going up against City, right? Nobody expected that. The way we're doing it as well. We're rubbing people the wrong way up and down the country for various different things. There's already a target on our back already, right? He's already gone in for that tackle, for that header attempt or whatever kind of thing. And there was a reasonable delay. He's booted the ball away. Now, again, the rule itself is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. I don't like it. Let me be clear, I do not like it. But these referees, in general, when it comes to Arsenal, they don't need an excuse. They don't. They actually don't. In the same game, we saw what Doku done, and we complained about it. We complained about it in the same game and nothing was done. And then Trossard does like literally does it afterwards. I'm thinking,
all right, let me ask you a question.
Well,
Did you complain?
Huh?
Wait, I'll lob it to you, Mitch. Give me a second. Did you complain during this is a yes or no question. I don't want a big talking.
Yep.
Did you complain during the RVP versus New Camp thing? Did you complain?
of course I
Did you think that? Did you feel? All right. That is all I have to say. If you complain during that, then you get to complain during this. Go ahead, Mitch.
Knows it's UEFA Lona. Whether they would have sent off anybody. They would have sent off anybody that day anyway because we're playing against Barcelona. That's just playing Barcelona in the Champions League anyway, especially in that period. That's just anybody that watched Barcelona in that period knows that as much as we laugh at Chelsea, like they you know what I mean, they got fucked over by UEFA Lona then anyway. So I take your point there, but the simple fact is Trossard to me wasn't smart enough there. He just wasn't. Right? Now I'll let you guys have the floor and you guys can tell me.
Mitch, you can go.
You've
been waiting.
However you feel, because again, I'm not disputing the fact that the rule is bullshit. I just have to be clear on that. I just want to know, do you think Trossard could have and should have done anything differently there? That's it.
No.
Okay.
Like, he was truly playing the game, and the whistle got blown as he was making a touch. Like, as he was touching the ball, the whistle got blown, and he kicked it away. And it's not even fucking remotely the same thing as Rice's thing, because I think you can at least make an argument for Rice's that, like, was he delaying the restart? Fucking maybe. Even though if it was a legal free kick, the guy was not going for the ball at all, fully kicked into Rice. Doesn't matter. He was like, you can make the argument that he was delaying the restart. You cannot make that argument when it comes to Trossard, especially when Doku did the same thing earlier in the game. And it continues to be a just inconsistency in refereeing, and it's not an Arsenal thing. Every single team gets reffed like this because they are truly and incompetent, and the Premier League cannot call itself the best league in the world if it continues to have referees that act like this. They cannot do that. Michael Oliver said last year he did not send Kovacic off because he didn't want to affect the biggest game, and then he fucking does something even dumber and this year, which is truly it's baffling. It's a baffling decision and something you didn't need to do as a referee. You don't need to send him off for that. There's honestly more argument for him to be sent off for just a foul being a second yellow. And it would have been just as horseshit, but the fact that it's like being called for him kicking the ball away is truly baffling. And it's making me lose the love of the sport. It's truly baffling.
Okay.
The game's gone.
Okay, so we'll leave it there. But I will say this.
Damn, I didn't even get to say my piece. You would leave it there. I let Mitch go first, so I can then go.
You definitely.
No, you talked for like 20 minutes. You talked for 20 minutes.
We spent enough time on this. But what I will say, Gabby, before we leave this is, I'll ask you this: do you think Trossard, based on his performances in midfield in general from Tottenham and today, even if he didn't get sent off, do you think he deserves to stay in the team anyway?
Do I think he deserves to stay in the team based on his performances?
Yeah, the last two.
I would say no based on his performances, but
thank you, Michael Oliver. You made it easy for us. Thank you.
But I would also keep Trossard in over 5. That's like saying, oh well, Martinelli. I personally don't think Martinelli should be starting.
Yeah.
I don't think Martinelli should be starting. I think Trossard should be starting because you should prioritize the relationships, which I've said multiple times. Prioritize the relationships between Kai Havertz and Trossard.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that Kai and Martinelli play together. So based on that, I would say he should stay in the team. But based on his performances alone, maybe not.
Okay, so when you said okay, you should stay in the team over 5, and this is an open question. We can spend as much time as you guys want on this, but from where I'm sitting and from where I watched, I genuinely think this is probably 5's best game of the season, and maybe even this calendar year, especially that second half. And I'm talking about shuttling across. I'm talking about cutting angles. I'm talking about organizing our press when we did get out as well. I can't really find a fault with anything he done today, and I'm not doing this.
You think he organized our press?
Huh?
He organized our press.
In the second half, especially, he was the one out there chasing with Hazard.
Mitch's face is killing. I'm sorry.
And it's funny because I don't actually think I expected that of him, considering how physically cooked he really is. Like, there was no gaps. There's a reason why Kovacic and Diaz were playing keep ball each other, because there was no space there. And you have to remember, Declan Rice was defending that wide channel, and the whole center of the pitch, basically, where they were playing, was just, there was nothing there. There was nothing there. So based on that performance today alone, considering what he's given us, recently, I'm not saying he should stay in the team, but there was life in there today. And I'll be honest with you, I genuinely can't find a fault with it. Like, if there was someone that's going to make a mistake today, especially considering how good City moved the ball, I expected it to be him. And he gave them nothing. Literally nothing. Now, you guys can agree or disagree with that.
If the bar is, I expected him to make a mistake and he didn't, that's not a bar that we should be holding players to.
Okay,
just simply not a thing that we should be taught. Like,
can I ask you this? Do you think Arteta has got it wrong with any of his selections this season in terms of?
No, I think the only reason he's starting is because of our injuries in midfield. I think with full strength, it's not even a conversation, because he's going to be playing for the foreseeable future until Marino and Odegaard are back. It doesn't even fucking matter.
But in general, I mean, we look at, especially if we go back to last season as well, to be fair, we went on one of our best runs ever, really. And the moment he was fit, Georgie came out of the team and we were still scoring shit tons of goals. And I think I think we've already conceded 5 goals on the road this season, this calendar year kind of thing, and he's played in pretty much all of them. If we're waiting for a mistake kind of thing, to my mind, I cannot remember one that has been critical.
Did you watch the Champions League game this weekend or this week?
Yeah.
Did you watch that game?
Yeah, of course I did. But we all know that was a soft penalty. Like, are we not going to say that's not a soft penalty? Is that not the same thing that happened with David Luiz?
I think we've spent too much time on him as is.
Okay,
I think we've spent too much conversation on Raya. On 5.
Okay, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But we're not going to pretend as if he had a bad game. Like, let's just be clear on that. I personally think so. Anyway,
I don't know if I'm pretending that he had a bad game. I think he was okay, but I'm with Mitch on the fact that, like, if him just being okay is the bar, that's a low fucking bar. Okay. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so I'll ask you another question. Do you think right now, especially in the circumstance that it was in, Georgie would have done a better job? I think Georgie would have done about the same job. I think Georgie would have done about the same job.
Okay.
I'm granted, I'm nitpicking because I don't like him. So there are moments like I'm going to
be honest about that part, because
I'm
not defending him. Let's just be clear on this. So,
but I mean, like, when I say nitpicking, I mean, I'm looking at the moments where I'm like, this could have went horribly wrong, where you take a bad touch in your own box and then all of a sudden they're on top of us again. And I'm like, please. Or you dribble at the top of the box and can't get away, and then, they can recycle the ball one more time. And it didn't cost us, but that shouldn't be the bar. Because I feel like that was the bar for Zinchenko, because every time he made a mistake, it cost us every single time. But that should be the lowest bar. You should want more from your defenders, especially for your defensive midfielders. And we both know that Declan Rice plays better in that position.
Declan Rice off the ball in that position, there is quite literally nobody better than that. But I'm of the opinion that I like to think my idea of what is optimum Arsenal is pretty close to what Arteta thinks is. And for some weird reason, he still has this player here, and he's chopped and changed, quite enough times kind of thing. And we're still kind of at this stage where we're still defending incredibly well. We're still creating chances. And apart from Morgan Rogers, nobody's really dominating our midfield. Nobody has dominated our midfield this season. Even City, like, genuinely, even City. City, while it was 11 against 11, we're simply just we're very direct. We're very direct, and we're playing in front of us, and that was it. They were literally playing in front of us. They weren't playing behind us, especially behind our midfield. So yeah, I guess we'll leave that part there. So Saka went off. Do we know if he was injured or not? Anyone?
I don't think he was, but I don't know for sure. I think Arteta just took him off.
Okay.
I think you just want Martinelli as an outlet instead of Saka.
Yeah, instead of Saka playing defense.
I think it was tactical.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I personally think I don't know what you guys had in the broadcast, but I was very, very pleased with the fact that we just fucked off any sort of attack, and it was like we're gonna really buy into this whole terrorist ball kind of thing. But for some reason, Gary Neville was obsessed with us leaving one up top for some reason, which would have meant there was one less player defending and one less player for City to have to worry about when trying to find space, kind of thing. Did you guys think? Do you guys agree with that, or do you think we should have? Are you happy with how we set up?
I never agree with Gary Neville, so let's just start there. The one time that he gets one time from me, and that was the $1 billion bottle jobs. That's the one time that I've ever agreed with you on anything that you say. Is like that guy, whatever. But no, and he's also wrong in saying that to begin with, because we didn't even leave anybody up top to like even do an outlet ball. Because Kai was tracking back to actually cover space. Martinelli was back on the touchline covering space. Anytime we had an outlet ball to kick the ball out to anybody, nobody was there to get it. There was nobody up at all. Like everybody, I was about to say all 11, all 10 players on the pitch were defending. Every single one of them.
And I think that's the whole point of it. If anything was to break, pardon me, it was going to come from us launching the ball very, very long and hoping for a happy break. And we almost got one with Havertz and then what do you call it, and Edison. But there was nothing happening there. And Arteta is not naive enough, as much as people want to say he's young, he's this, whatever. He's not naive enough to think he can get away with trying to, cheat with one player staying up high. But we know obviously we're down to 10 men, and we had to dig in. I don't think anyone looked leggy, and that was another positive thing. I feel like we're kind of gearing up to hitting a good physical level for the games coming up as well. And I have to really give props to Arteta for really managing and navigating these first 5 games the way he has, because Arsenal are not the only place where really, really firing is defense, which is how championships are won, kind of thing. But I'm very, very pleased with the way we navigated it. But for some reason, there's murmurs in the fan base of us, not playing expansive, and other fan bases as well, and us, playing terrorist ball and whatever else kind of thing. Simple fact is, you can't play like hooligans the entire season. City basically did that today and left with an XG of 0.1, which was what, John Stones' goal.
No, that was just the goal. Yeah. That was not their total XG.
I'm talking about, in terms of their big chances. Sorry, the one big chance was the John Stones goal, though, right? If I'm
I think so, because everything else was just long shots from 20, 30, 40 yards or whatever.
Yeah. So I remember. So I remember there was a stat actually where they at one point they had it was all the shots they'd had by that time in the second half were all from outside the box, and it was 14 of them, which again speaks to the fact that we defended our box well, and there was nothing getting in between our midfield and our defense as well. I personally don't think we'll see anything like that again this season, unless Michael Oliver's refereeing Arsenal again. But I really, really do think there's so much positives to take from this, guys. So yeah, I'll give the floor to you guys. Like, you guys can give me like your 2 or 3 positives that you saw from this game. I'll let Mitch go first because I can see he wants to get the fuck out of there.
I do think it's objectively a good result. I'm just fucking pissed in the way it happened. Like, we were so fucking close to getting that win, and it just, like, I was telling Dean prior to us recording, if they had scored in 60th for the equalizer and then we drew 2-2, I think I'd be happy. But the fact that it was the 98th makes me unbelievably angry, and I'm just gonna be fuming on this for a long time, I think. Like, this reminds me of from like 3 years ago when we played City and Gabriel got sent off. It was like the game where Saka, I think it was like Saka's like coming out game. Like, that was like his like, oh, he's a fucking superstar game. And we should have won that game. Gabriel got sent off. We had to hunker down. And then Rodri scored like a super late winner.
Again, we were fucked by the rest of it with an Odegaard penalty that should have been a pen as well. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. No, it was Xhaka gave it up on Bernardo Silva.
No, but Odegaard should have won one as well.
Oh, yes, I agree. That game had my head on Mars. This game has my head on Pluto. I'm so fucking angry. And yeah, I hate sports and
His
everything's
voice
terrible.
is so defeated. I hate this for you.
I thought this pod would have been therapy for you, and I feel like I've made things worse. Mitch, I
I-
apologize.
Oh,
I think-
100% you have. 100%.
Yeah, I think we might get relegated now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Gabby, in terms of our rotation now, because we've got, it looks like, I think Timber went off with it looked like it might have been Cramp, and obviously with Martinelli. If these players aren't 100%, what do you think, what would be your ideal sort of replacements to come into the team for them?
At this point, I don't know. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel. At bare minimum, at least we have a lot of squad depth in our defense. Because midfield, if anybody else goes down, we're looking very light. And attacker wise. But for let's say, I think that was just a cramp for Timber, so I think he'll be available for the next game. I also think it's Calafiori as well. But if either of them went out, I would say, next game is what, Bolton, right?
Yep.
Also, question before I answer is does Trossard get to serve his ban for that game, or does it have to be?
I think they suspend it for one game, and then it's the next game that he actually misses, I believe.
Okay, so it has to be a Prem game. It can't be the Bolton game. Okay.
I think it can be a League Cup game. I'm pretty sure it's just an EFL game.
But I think if it's a straight red, unless I remember if I've messed this up, but if it's a
one-game suspension, I think it's just for.
It's a one-game suspension.
Okay.
But usually it's. Oh no, you're right actually, because Rice missed the next game straight away, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because before it used to be a straight red, you'd miss the next 3 games straight away. If it was a second yellow, I believe they'd stagger it or something like that, and you missed the game after.
What I'm thinking is they put in probably Zinchenko's not available, so you probably put in a Kivior or something. I have a feeling that they're gonna play Ben White and rest Timber just a little bit because he's been playing a lot of minutes now. And then for Trossard, if he can serve his ban against Bolton, then you probably bring in a Sterling or someone else to play.
I have a very weird feeling that Havertz is going to start on Wednesday.
He probably will. Because he's being used as like a bar of soap. He's going to play every single game. Not even joking.
Thank you, Dean, for claiming that up. Actually, so you used to be able to. So he will miss. He will actually miss the Leicester game, Trossard, which is what it is. We should be okay without him. But I haven't been able to get hold of Arteta's quotes or whatever else kind of thing. But before I suppose sign off with my overall feelings, guys, how different do you feel to this stage last season than you do now?
I don't feel any different. I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like we've been here, done this. Like I said at the beginning of the season, I don't think we're gonna win the league. I think we're not gonna have enough attacking wise. I may change my opinion when Moreno and
you're so.
I might change my opinion when Moreno and Odegaard come in, and if we start clinking in the attack, because I think we click in the defense already. We've shown what we could do at defense. We've shown that we can absolutely stop anyone from scoring, even Haaland. I know we didn't do it in this game, but we've shown it multiple times before.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's only time will tell. I still feel the same way that I felt like last year.
Because I'll just rewind to you guys last season. So by this stage last season, we had played Tottenham. We just drew with them 2-2 in a game that we probably should have won. Rice went off at half time. Jorginho made a mistake, obviously, and they equalised. And we beat Everton, we beat United, obviously, which is hilarious. We drew to Fulham after they were down to 10 men as well. And obviously we was away to Palace and we won 1-0. And the Forest game with the Saka banger. If you compare that start to this start, Mitch, we've played Wolves at home. We was probably like a 6.5 out of 10. Then we played, was it Villa away? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, Villa away, then Brighton.
It was Villa away. Good performance there. We won 2-0. Then Brighton, obviously, we got fucked over by the ref. Then we played Tottenham, beat them as we do. And then we've had Atalanta, obviously. And then we've had City. Comparing the two, would you say that the two starts to the season, which one are you more happier about, or in general, or do you feel more positive about?
Ask me in a week. I don't know.
Okay.
Like this is objectively a good start to the season, but ask me in a week. I can't answer objectively right now. I'm too fucking
feel
mad.
we always back Arsenal in big games. At least I do. I always back Arsenal in big games. It's the smaller games that I always struggle with.
You said we're gonna lose or draw. You said we're gonna lose or draw. What do you mean?
Yeah, but a draw against the best team in the world. That's whatever.
Yeah.
Like nobody goes to the Etihad and wins. It's fair enough. Not even Real Madrid do that.
We should have. We should have done that.
I know, but like I just feel like once these hard games are out of the way, we had City away that is done now. Villa away that we didn't win last year, and Spurs away that's done now. Like those are some hard fixtures that are done now. I'm more worried about the smaller teams because that's where we lost the league last year, in my opinion. We lost the leagues against the Fulhams and the West Hams and whatever. Win those games, and then I'll be like, yes, we can do this.
Yeah. So and that's genuinely the point I was trying to drive home. Out of all of the teams that are in the top four right now, Arsenal comfortably we've had the hardest start, and we're 2 points behind City, and we're level on points with Villa and Liverpool, or Liverpool are a point ahead of us. I don't know. But
I think we're second, 2 points off the top.
No, I think we're fourth now because I think we're fourth. Yeah.
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, but again, put it like this: we're only 2 points behind City. Is the point I'm making. And objectively, we've had a much harder start to the season. Look, Liverpool lost 1-0 at home to Nottingham Forest last week. So those are the type of games last season Arsenal might have lost, Gabby, as well, if you remember correctly. So again, I personally cannot be more pleased with how Arsenal have started the season. In general, the Atlanta game for me was probably, Gabby's gonna call me sick. It was probably arguably my highlight of the season so far, because of just how well we managed the game. Obviously, the Raya heroics as well, but there's a clear shift in mentality and clear shift in the way Arsenal are carrying out things, and with Arteta as well in general. There's a real maturity. And I hate to bring up Gary Neville again, but what he said about us in the North London derby, the way we play and the way we're handling these games, we look like a team that's won a league title before or two. And I can't be more pleased with that, genuinely. We're maturing and we look very mature. So from the SBS Arsenal team, I think we'll leave it there, guys. You know what, tell the people. And Mitch, please don't cry. Please.
Peace. Straight face. Take your shirt off.